Women have been central to the film industry since its inception in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. As writers, directors and audience members, women have influenced the incline of the film industry. The kind of roles they were asked to play often reinforced traditional gender roles. That story is the familiar one. Prior to the 1930s, Hollywood provided many opportunities for women to work on films behind the scenes. Many studios had prominent female directors and female screenwriters. They created some of the most popular movies of that period. At the same time, female film editors exercised creative control over the visual experience of the film. A few women even headed their own studios. Though these women earned their jobs through the creative talents and shrewd business sense, their presence behind the scenes helped legitimise film as an art form. Alice Guy Blaché was the first female pioneer in early French cinema. She is known as the first female director and writer of narrative fiction films. Her first film was La Fille aux Choux. While cinema started to become more and more popular to the classes with disposable income, more and more production studios would hire female directors and screenwriters to capture the female interest. Studios sought to capitalise on the ability of women to legitimise early film. This was because women would often be in control of the household income their husbands brought in. Women were increasingly pushed out of directing positions in the 1920s and 30s, when the professionalisation of film segregated the geography of the film industry by sex. Organisations such as the Screenwriters Guild kept to the traditional values, still popular at the time, which were that men outrank women. By the time of the first Academy Awards, women directors had already been pushed out of many behind-the-scenes roles, and were therefore notably absent from the awards outside of Best Actress. The first woman to win an Oscar for Best Director was Kathryn Bigelow with The Hurt Locker in 2009. That's 80 years after the Academy Awards was founded in 1929.
I'm Diana, I'm a cinematographer. I have to be in charge of the cameras and lighting, and collaborate with director to deliver the vision of his vision in the best way. Was one of the reasons maybe I got into that as well, because I felt like I'm different. That is something that women don't do, and I want to try and prove that we can do it. They always try to take the camera out of me and say like, you know, it's so heavy, why do you want to do this? They constantly told me like, it's really hard for women, why would you do that? So I was like, no. Here I think it's a bit different because there are much more women here and they're much more powerful. Everybody can do anything. It shouldn't be dependent on the gender. And I don't like that when people sell me as a female cinematographer. They're like, oh yeah, that's a female cinematographer. And I'm like, oh God, okay. So much more sexist because they don't talk about it, they just don't hire them because they think they can handle it, the job. They don't bother, you know, they just see you as just an attractive person. So they don't, for example, if they met a man cinematographer there, they would probably talk about work. If they meet me, they talk about what I like to do and if I can go out and date, you know. So quite often you're just not taken professionally, you know. So, and then like when you send them email later, they're like, oh, you have actually quite a good reel, I did really, you know, and they're like, okay, cool. Yeah, now we're talking. So you just have to kind of prove yourself twice, basically. Just don't be scared and do it, whatever. Do what you want. I always say do what you want because that's what I did. So yeah, I just don't care and do what I want.
My name is Trish Morris and I went to Ravensbourne many years ago. I did a film course at Ravensbourne. I managed to get a job as a trainee assistant film editor with the BBC in London, and that's how my career started. I feel women are underrepresented in the film industry, but they've always been in that position. There weren't that many film editors when I joined the industry that were female. It's interesting that it went from an industry which was dominated by females, and as soon as sound came in, it suddenly changed. I've never felt that I was any different from my male counterparts or treated in any way differently. I think it's determination and a passion that gets you through. It's not a question of what gender you are. I think it's a question of how passionate you are about doing the job. And if you really want to do the job, then you'll get there in the end.
Just like today, the film industry during the first part of the 20th century was responsible for reinforcing social norms. And yet, Women were very much at the centre of the evolution of the industry, acknowledged not only for their looks but also their work. Progress is gradual, and while the film industry still faces many injustices, women continue to be judged on the basis of their looks. Women have been and continue to be involved in all aspects of the film industry.